So once the acidic food reaches the small intestine, here pancreatic enzymes secreted by pancreas, this orange colored fluid is the pancreatic juice, and bile juice, this green colored juice is bile juice, which is coming from liver. Both these juices are secreted into the first part of the small intestine, duodenum, and this partially digested food is coming from the stomach into the intestine. These help in further digestion of the food. Now, what is the function of the bile juice? So, bile is secreted by liver and is stored in the gallbladder. It has a pH of around 8 and it doesn't contain any enzymes. Still, it helps in digestion. Let's see how. It makes the food, acidic food coming from the stomach, alkaline, so which activates the pancreatic enzymes because they need an alkaline environment to be active. Also, it emulsifies the fat molecules so that the lipases could easily act upon these fat molecules. Emulsification means breaking down the large fat molecules into smaller ones. So these green colored dots are the lipase enzymes secreted by pancreas. So the smaller fat molecules formed after emulsification have more surface area, which increases the efficiency of the pancreatic enzyme lipases by giving them more surface to act upon. Lipases enzymes then digest fats into simpler soluble forms, fatty acid and glycerol. Finally, the complete digestion of carbohydrates, proteins and fat take place in the small intestine by the secretion of liver, pancreas and the juices secreted by intestinal walls. So pancreas secrete pancreatic juice which contains enzyme trypsin, lipases and amylase. Their substrates are proteins, emulsified fat and starch. And the wall of the small intestine contain glands secreting intestinal juice which have 4 enzymes, peptidases which break down the smaller protein chains called peptides, sucrase whose substrate is sucrose, lactase digests the milk sugar called lactose, and maltase digests the maltose, the dimer created in the mouth by partial digestion of carbohydrates. So finally, the complex carbohydrates are digested to glucose, proteins are broken down to amino acids and fats into fatty acid and glycerol. These digested soluble molecules are then taken up by the walls of the small intestine. So how is this small intestine designed to absorb the digested food? So the inner wall of the small intestine has numerous villi completely layered inside. So as you can see here, the villi are hair-like structure and on each villi are present even smaller hair-like structure called microvilli. So these together increase the surface area for absorption of this digested food. So that is the reason for absorption process in small intestine. This is the internal structure of villi. As you can see, villi is richly supplied with blood vessels. So blood present in these vessels take the absorbed food to each and every cell of the body. So this is how the digested food is taken up by the villi on the wall of the small intestine and enters the bloodstream. Here you can see digested proteins and carbohydrates are absorbed by the epithelial cells of small intestine and then it enters the bloodstream. But if you will see here, the digested fatty acids, the digested fats, fatty acid and glycerol, they enter the epithelial cells but they are not entering into the bloodstream. Rather, they first are entering into the lymphatic system, into the lymph. The lymphatic capillary is called lacteals. So it happens somewhat like this. So these green colored round structures are the digested proteins and carbohydrates which you can see are entering into the blood capillary, blue colored vessel. But if you see it carefully, the yellow colored component particles are not directly entering into the blood stream. They are entering into this yellow colored, on the left hand side, yellow colored tube called lacteals, lymphatic capillaries. So this is quite an interesting thing to know, and this could be a part of my new video, another video. So after the digested food is in the bloodstream, what about the undigested part? So peristalsis moves the undigested food towards the colon, which is also called large intestine. Here absorption of water takes place. So here the undigested, unabsorbed food enters into the colon. This is the first part, red color indicated, called cecum. Colon is also called large intestine. Cecum is the first simply dead end pouch forming a part of large intestine. In cattle, it stores plant matter and it contains symbiotic bacteria for digestion. But in humans, no known function is acknowledged till now. So here, the undigested, unabsorbed food then through this ileocecal valve climbs up the colon. This is how it happens. Large intestinal colon is a long coiled tube-like organ in our body that removes excess water from the digested food. These are the four structures. After cecum, it's ascending colon, green color represents the transverse colon, then red is descending colon, and then sigmoid colon followed by rectum and anus. So when it removes water from the digested food, here we see that the liquid waste enters into the large intestine. But then when excess of water is absorbed by the cells of the wall of the large intestine, the remaining material is solid waste called fecal matter or stool, which moves through the colon to the rectum and leaves the body through the anus. So exit of this waste material is regulated by anal sphincters. So this was all about the human digestive system and its comparison with the herbivores and carnivores. So if you guys have any doubts related to the topic, please scroll down and write in the comment box.